right, good morning once again, and the program is Ministerial Briefing on National Broadcasting Service. Like I said, I have in the studio live to be featured the Honorable Commissioner of Justice, Barrister Isaac Danladi, who is live in the studio. And as usual, you know, this is a program that is being sponsored by the Nasarawa State Ministry of Information under the leadership of the Honorable Commissioner, Dr. Tanko Ibrahim. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, and on the show, I have my colleagues from the media, led by the chairman of the Nasarawa State Council of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Comrade Salih Muhammad Al-Kali. He's already seated in the studio. Okay, and also we have the Secretary of the Council, Mr. Sunday John. Is also the correspondent of the News Agency of Nigeria here in Nasarawa State. You're welcome.
Happy to be here.
Abubakar Abdullahi is the chairman of the correspondent chapel in Nasarawa State and the state correspondent of Daily Trust. He's also in the studio. You're welcome. We also have Abigail Bashi of the NTA Lafia. He's here in the studio. From the other end, okay, we have Chris Nyamtu. Chris Nyamtu is the correspondent of Radio Nigeria in Nasarawa State and the secretary of the correspondent chapel. You're welcome. Mariam Adra of NBS is also on the panel. You're welcome. Suleiman Abubakar Lawal of Rimawa Global News is also. Triumph Newspaper is also in on the panel. You're welcome. Umar Muhammad of Arise News is also on the team, and then we have Osude Saleh of Nasarawa Today newspaper is also here, and then Zubairu Muhammad is also here with us. You're welcome all. Okay, on this note, we would like to head straight into the issue we have at stake. You know that this platform is where we normally discuss progress report of the Nasarawa State government using the various heads of agencies of the government, particularly the Honorable Commissioner. So we are beginning with our host commissioner for today, who is Barrister Isaac Danladi. Sir, straight to the issue that we have here. Can you quickly give us an overview of Governor Abdullahi Sule's administration's justice delivery system in Nasarawa State?
Once again, I want to thank you for having me, and I want to appreciate you for inviting me. Let me say, so far so good, as far as justice delivery is concerned in Nasarawa State. His Excellency is somebody who is a respecter of the law, and of course, justice, equity, and fair play. And without law, there will be no peace and security. Of course, justice will be nowhere to be found. And for the 7+ years that His Excellency has been, on the mantle of leadership, I think he has been able to bring justice closer to the people. He's been able to make justice the hope of the common man. And so many things have been put in place. Just this year alone, 2026 budget, about 16-point-something billion naira has been set aside for the Ministry of Justice. This is a strategic plan, economic plan, to ensure that justice is made seamless, justice is made easy for people, quite accessible, and of course, a lot of transformation has, been recorded, and as we progress, I will be in a position to mention some of it. But I think, without any iota of doubt or fear of contradiction, that His Excellency, our principal and our mentor, Engineer Abdullahi A. Sule, has done well as far as justice delivery. You can see that we have relative peace in Nasarawa State, and this is as a result of the laws that have been put in place to ensure that people go about their normal businesses, and also people go, sleep with their 2 eyes closed. It is not impossible to have some skirmishes here and there, but if you do an overall overview of our situation vis-a-vis some other states, I think His Excellency deserves some commendation.
It's okay. Maybe to further, find out from you. Sometimes we have issues of backlog of cases in courts in Nasarawa State, and then a lot of cases that should have been dispensed speedily to promote justice delivery are hampered as a result of backlog of cases in our courts and the rest of them. So we want to know what this administration is doing in this regard.
Yeah, I took over the mantle of leadership in the Ministry of Justice about 12 months ago. And actually what I met on ground was quite worrisome. But as I speak with you today, I think these things have become things of the past. And if you see a case or a backlog of cases pending in courts, 3 people are responsible or 3 parties are responsible.
Okay.
One, maybe the lawyer to either the prosecutor, to the prosecution, 2, maybe the defendant's lawyer, 3, maybe the courts. Because some come with frivolous, applications to delay justice. But as it is now, a lot of things have been put in place. What we have done now is, number 1, the problem used to be that of getting witnesses to come and testify.
Okay.
For instance, a case of culpable homicide. Maybe a policeman was the investigator. And at the end of the day, you have 1 or 2 witnesses. And maybe they have been transferred out of jurisdiction. For instance, a police officer transferred from here to, say, Maiduguri, to get him to come and testify would always be, an uphill task. But what we have put in place now, we have started paying what they call witness fee. When we get funds and we invite these witnesses, we take care of their accommodation, take care of their feeding and transportation. Of course, because of that, we have made prosecution quite a lot easier, because people are now willing, able and ready to come and testify. And of course, this has been made available by the provision of funds by His Excellency the Executive Governor. Secondly, in the ministry, when I came in, when case diaries come from the police for us to grant legal advice, the file will be taken to maybe assigned to somebody to proffer legal advice. Then after doing that, he has to pass it to all the directors to be able to give their consent and also give their own opinion. I know in the process you are wasting time, energy and resources. But when I came in, I said, no, it's okay. We have a director of public prosecutions. And these are people who are solely responsible for ensuring due diligence in the area of prosecution. We have the director of public defender, who of course takes care of human rights abuses against children, women, and so on and so forth. So the moment it comes, the case diaries come from the police, next thing to do is, when I send it out to the DPP will now assign to lawyers, and it will come back to the DPP, then come back to me. So now we used to have about 2 weeks for lawyers to give their legal advice, but now it doesn't exceed 7 days. And of course it keeps reducing the backlog. Again, I discovered that the police were, with all respect, withholding, because they are also allowed to prosecute cases. But most of the times, they pile the cases. In the Ministry of Justice has the largest number of lawyers in any state. So the police might have just 1 or 2 legal officers. And imagine them keeping about 50 to 60 case files trying to prosecute themselves. Of course, it will cause delay, unwanted delay. But I insisted that the moment there are issues, particularly high-profile cases, we expect that they should come to the ministry where there are professionals. They will provide their advice. Then when we are advising for prosecution, of course, we take over the files and begin to prosecute. Even when we go to the courts and we discover that matters are not being handled, and these are matters maybe the state against any other person, of course, the Constitution provides the Attorney General to take over the prosecution of any case at any time. So most of the times I ask my lawyers, when they go to court and matters are not well handled in courts, particularly criminal cases, then of course they take that over. Then there has been this symbiotic relationship between us and the other agencies who have the right to investigate cases and also prosecute, like the civil defense, like the police, like the DSS. So we have a robust relationship with them, whereby the moment there are issues and they are investigating, those are state offenses are taken to the state high courts or magistrate court, as it were. Then those that also have, the federal, implications, so to speak, they are taken to the federal high court. And the law still permits, as per the fiat granted to the Attorney General by the Attorney General of the Federation, that we have the right to also take over, federal offenses and prosecute them to the barest minimum. So what we have been doing now is to maintain a healthy relationship too with the judiciary, because there are three arms of government, as earlier enunciated by my brother, the Commissioner for Information. We have the executive, the legislature, and also the judiciary. So there has been a friendly relationship with both parties. For instance, as the Attorney General, if I go to court today, even if they are senior advocates of Nigeria, my cases are heard first, because of that healthy relationship, and the law provides for that. So at times I go to court myself personally. I'm sure you've been following. We go there, take over cases, prosecute cases to their logical conclusion. So far I think we have tried as much as possible to reduce the backlog of cases that we have. Then of course we have our lawyers have been well positioned and trained, in terms of human capital development, to ensure that we handle our cases diligently. And that is why each time we have now opened the register, the moment we make sure lawyers are no longer lazy. We have offices littered in about 6 or so locations. We have in Nasarawa, we have in Karu, we have in Kefi, we have here, and we have in Akwanga. So we have thrown our network quite round, and there is what they call, we have now established what we call digital case law management. We had to engage a consultant by virtue of the approval granted by His Excellency, gracious approval for that matter, to, have case. It makes the administration of justice and case management very easy. Okay. What am I saying? As I am today as the Attorney General of the state, whether it is Solicitor General or the Director of Public or any other director, can sit in the comfort of his room, just log into that platform. You know the lawyers that are handling cases, you know the status of those cases, you track any lawyer who is not, up to his billing, to ensure that you bring him to book. In fact, we are planning to very soon, add His Excellency to that platform, so that he can also sit in the comfort of his house or his office and then monitor what we are doing. And that will keep us on our toes, and it will make us to put in our best in the interest of justice of the state.
It's all right. Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner. I will get back to you, but let me hear from our chief host, the Honorable Commissioner for Information, whether you have more to shed light on the development so far as given by the Commissioner for Justice.
Thank you very much. As you are all aware, my colleague, the Attorney General, is doing his best. He has added more values onto the issues of cases within the ministry itself at large. So the only thing I wanted to add is our responsibilities, we the people of the penthouse, to ensure that those cases that have been going on within the state are being reported up appropriately, so that people should know that the judiciary is working, our courts are working. In fact, he is one of the unique Attorney General that I've ever met that go to court himself, stand and do cases, and win the case, and come back to his office and continue as a Commissioner Attorney General, which is not easy with all his commitment, with all the meetings we are having, all these great countries and so on and so forth. So these are issues that you people need to report and let the state generally to know what is happening in terms of issues of cases, that people have been given fair hearing. People are having people that will assist them to ensure that cases are being resolved amicably and professionally. So with that, if those things are being added, are being on, I believe the people will appreciate more what the Office of the Attorney General is doing and all the cases within the state. I think this is what I want to add. I want to charge you, I want to urge you to do your professional ethic, to send our men so that we should have correspondence that will be reporting both pen media and electronic media, to be reporting what is happening in our court, not only within the state level. You can send some of your correspondent, just like he said, there are cases, one of their offices in Nasarawa, one in Karu, Kefi, Akwanga, you can send correspondent. NBS has correspondent in Kefi. So you can send them to Nasara once in a while to take some, at least once in a week. Let's have sensitive, you can liaise with them to give you some sensitive, cases that they can be able to go and make sure that justice is being properly administered to people that deserve justice.
Exactly. Yes. All right, Honorable Commissioner, I know my colleague will be wanting to begin to fire their questions, but I have one that I want you to answer before I fall back to them, and that is the issue of National State Multi-Door Court. We want to know, shed more light. Can you please elaborate more about that in promoting alternative dispute resolution in the justice system?
Yes, the multi-door courthouse has actually been put in place to see how we can, look for alternative ways of dispute resolution. And as I speak with you now, there are two in Nasarawa State. One is within the Karu corridor, while the other one is here. Even though the building in Karu is about 90% completed, while the one here I think is about 80 to so percent. And the whole idea is to see how you can bring about mediation, reconciliation, and negotiation. And such kind of things are supposed to be done, particularly as it affects commercial, disputes, family and community disputes, and so on and so forth. And the whole idea is to make justice seamless, quite affordable and accessible to people. And it will be done in an out-of-court, environment whereby everybody feels relaxed to be able to sort out issues amicably. And again, I must appreciate His Excellency, because aside from that, it has its own commercial, benefits. Because the one in the Karu corridor is, of course, because of the proximity to Abuja, is one of the best we have in Africa. And people will come from all over, the walks of life to ensure that their disputes are resolved, and you pay. That's the joy about it, that for using the facility, they have to pay. And of course, this is an additional revenue coming to the state, and for here, well, a lot of people that are within, it will take care of their own needs and so on. And when you drag somebody to court, it becomes indelible in your, in your blood and in your mind for a very long time to come. But if it is, an alternative way of resolving the dispute, as we are sitting like this, we can get experts who are fellows of Chartered Institute of Arbitration. They will sit and process, and then people are told as it is. It saves time, no long adjournments, no long apportioning of blames and so on. It's to see how you can resolve this. And as a follow-up to that, the judiciary has also come up with what they call the Sulhu. I'm sure you must have been following the Sulhu aspect of it, which is provided for by the Constitution and the Administration of Criminal Justice Law. And in Hausa, Sulhu of course means maybe settlement or resolution. So if it is maybe of labor law, family law relationship, and you have issues with your wife and your husband, instead of going to the regular courts to wash your dirty linen in public, you can have this sulhu mechanism whereby you sit down and agree and resolve it amicably. So far in the state, I think we have done well. These structures will soon be in place. They will be commissioned, and we'll take advantage of that to see how we can add value to justice delivery in Nasarawa State.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner. At this point in time, I would like to bring on board my colleagues from this other side, and I would like to begin with the chairman of the Nasarawa State Council of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Comrade Salihu Muhammad Al-Khali, to bring his questions before the Honorable Commissioner. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Gospel. Attorney General of Nasarawa State, I don't like commending people, but I have to give you a little commendation. one aspect where my commissioner have just said you always appear in court. Unlike before now, you have armchair commissioner of justice. And I hope you sustain that legacy. Secondly, I would like to ask you, if you have a mechanism of settle out of court, why is it that our prison is so congested with little issue, like issue of death? Maybe you have an issue with someone, you take it to court and be dragged to prison where you're supposed to settle out of court and to reduce congestion in the court. Why do you intend to do that?
Yeah.
Secondly, sir,
Okay.
I hope maybe you judge that.
The congestion.
Yes.
Okay.
Secondly, sir, I'm aware that some deceased lawyer families, maybe after they pass away, is there anything that as a ministry you have ever done to ensure that you improve the life or the family's condition? Maybe people that are serving and they passed away. Is there anything that you ever done since you came on board? To the Commissioner of Information, maybe I'll do it complete so that I will not come back. Commissioner of Information, I want to also appreciate you for doing a good job in that ministry. We would like to know, just on recent, NBS had an issue. How far? Where are we at the moment? People would like to know, since they wanted to down too, and you are able to intervene. We would like to know how far you have gone. Secondly, you have a new permanent secretary and other directors. What is the relationship at the moment? Thank you.
All right, now I think let's start with the Commission, Justice.
Thank you, my able and capable chairman. I want to thank you for the very kind words that you have said about me, and I want to assure you that it will spur me to put in my best in the interest of service. And let me quickly also respond to two issues that you raised. Let me start from the decongestion of prisons. First and foremost, let me start from Kefi. Most of the so-called prisoners awaiting trial, or people in that prison, are not even from Nasarawa State. They are being sent there from the FCT. So of course, that again sorts it out. The over-bloated nature of that place is as a result of the criminals that have always been sent from Abuja axis to be there. But recently, His Excellency the Executive Governor and some of us visited the Honorable the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice with respect to that. And of course, he promised to see the CJ of the Abuja High Court and see how they can be decongested. That's one. Two, as I told you earlier on, at times there are reasons why people are kept more than necessary, because bringing them out may not be good for the system and also not good for themselves, particularly when crimes have just been committed. Even though we feel so sorry for those that stayed longer than necessary, but I know that there are deliberate attempts. If you have been following, around the 26th of December last year, His Excellency, while celebrating his 66th birthday, had cause to release and pardon about 33 inmates, and he wanted to do more than that, because he wanted it to coincide with his birthday, which is 66. But of course, so many people are called, but few are chosen, because some of them are high-profile cases that require investigation. Some again are there awaiting trial because of the magnitude of the offenses. I agree with you that there are some that are there for minor theft, petty thefts, but the CJ too, my lord the CJ, has been visiting the prisons, and the moment she goes there, she goes randomly and asks, you, what is the offense? You, what is this? And so on and so forth. And in the process, they release them. So, but as I said, that you cannot want to decongest the prisons for the sake of decongesting, because some of them, you leave them today. I have a case I'm handling now. The guy was arrested in Nasarawa Polytechnic, where they went to rob some students. He was taken himself with some people rounded up and taken to the prison. He was granted bail. Another offense was committed and he was okay, found to be part of the offense. So you see, at times, this type of people, you may say is a minor thing, but when you look in depth, and it is the court that can decide whether a case is minor or not, because until prosecution is done, of course, the ministry will do the prosecution diligently, and the courts, and then they will hear the defense, and the courts now decide. So, but if it is Nasarawa State, the Honorable, His Excellency has always told us to see how we can, decongest the prison, and he's been supporting us. We did it. They were not only for those that were supposed to pay fines. Government took it up and paid all the fines, defrayed the fines, and then they were left off the hook and asked to go and sin no more. And I believe it's part of the reformatory prison reformations that we've been cooperating very well with the correctional services. Each time there are cases, exceptional cases, where some people deserve to be freed because of maybe their health situations, because of their age and so on, we still look at it and make recommendations. Some are done quietly because you don't need to overbloat it. Some are done openly. So I think for the purpose of we are doing our best, I will continue to do our best. Then on the issue of welfare packages for the deceased, first let me state that in the whole of Nigeria, the Ministry of Justice staff enjoy one of the best welfare packages because their salaries has been harmonized. As I speak with you, the least lawyer in the ministry receives 200 and something thousand naira every month. And I believe anybody who is alive and with that kind of salary and working hard should be able to save a little and also plan for his future. And the moment, again, you are no more, of course, your gratuity will be there, your pension will flow for some time, and so on and so forth. So it's all about planning, strategic and tactical and technical planning of the individual himself. And that is why, while we are there, we still encourage people to try and develop themselves, both financially, both academically, and so on and so forth. But as I speak with you, and I'll continue to say without any iota of doubt or fear of contradictions, that we are one of the best. Just recently, not up to 4 months ago, as I speak with you, I'm an honorable commissioner, but the directors earn more than I earn, and so I know, and have served in government. I retired as a permanent secretary, and so I know what is obtainable in other parts of the MDAs and ministry. For I think so far we are good to go.
All right, sir. Let's get back to response from the Honorable Commissioner of Information.
Yes, what did you say?
He talked about the issue of NBS union, a plan to embark on strike, which you intervened, and then secondly, the relationship between you and the new permanent secretary and other directors.
You see, the issue of NBS union going for strike is something that I'm not even aware completely. When I was in office for the past 1 year and a month now, let me say so, a year and a month, the only thing I know about NBS, which I even told the union, was the issue of digitalization that we are following up, the issue of building structure.
Upgrade?
Yes, upgrade.
Yeah.
Then the issue of new administrative block and also renovation. That is the only thing I know as a case in NBS. So whenever I come here to have this program, the only complaint I have is, when are these people coming to upgrade and do this and do that? That was the only thing I knew. And suddenly when I was sitting at home in the evening around 10, 11, I saw it on Facebook that they are going to embark on strike. And then I saw the itemized issue of facilities, issue of allowance, issue of this, that. So I was shocked. So when I went into the office in the morning, I called my PAM said, "You are from NBS, are you aware of all these things? I just saw this thing happening. Did they consult you as their colleague that just left not long to the ministry as PAMSEC? And they have been coming, running around you to come and welcome you and wish you well. Did anybody complain that?" She said, "No, that she had." Then I said, "Okay." I took my phone and called the EBC. EBC said that, "Are you around in the office?" I said, "Please, I want to see all your management staff. If you wouldn't mind, I want you all to come to my office. I want to see you all." And if you are coming, make sure you call the union members. Let them also come. I wanted to see them. So they came. I told the union member to stay outside. And I discussed, I have a meeting with the management. I asked them, the first question I asked them was, did you ever bring this issue to me? They said no. And why didn't you tell me what is happening? Because whatever goes round must come back to where it is. If I should be in executive council meeting or His Excellency called me, what am I going to tell him? My office is not here. My office is there. And I always allow people to do their job description. Everybody has his own responsibility, so do your job description. But if something has to be beyond your job description or beyond your activities, you have your mother ministry to call on my attention and tell me what is happening. So when we have the discussion, they explain so many things that they came, they didn't finish the meeting, and suddenly they want to go on strike. Then I said, I cannot allow you to continue settling them while already the whole issue is in social media. It has gone viral. So I have to intervene. So I now tell them to excuse us, and I call the union and I ask them. So they stipulate out all their problems. I said, okay, since these are issues, we'll look into them one after the other, step by step. It's government is a continuing process. We'll look at it. The increments that I did for you for 22%, we'll continue to see what will happen. The issue of promotion, the issue of facilities, this and that. When I heard from them, I called the management again. I tell them to excuse us. And I tell the management, this is what I have from your people. Are we aware? Some of them say, yes, they are aware of all these things. Okay, I want you to be clear. And I now called the union to come back while they are there. And I told them, look, there are issues that goes on like that. And before I held that meeting, I have to call the head of service and inform her. Unfortunately, she's not in town. She went for assignment in Abuja. And inform her that I need her permission to send Director Labor to be part of this meeting. And then also another staff that will now follow the director, so that there's going to be a minute that the other staff will take, they can be able to do. So they are part of the meeting. We discuss anything that goes on air. As a practicing journalist who practiced before, I don't take it for granted. Anything that goes out, we don't take it for granted. So I called them and I told them, let them hear all the conversation that transpired in the meeting. And I told them that there is a law that goes on in issue of strike. Labour has procedure. The first thing is you have to give 21 days warning. You have to give 21 days. After then, you give 16 days. After then, you give 1 week warning strike until the 1 week warning strike is over. And if you are able to sit down with your party to discuss, automatically the strike will be suspended. And I told them that this strike will be suspended because we sat together. But these are the issues that the management will start. And if it is beyond the management should come to me. I'll either liaise with the head of service, if it has to do with the head of service, and then or I liaise and inform our boss, which is His Excellency Engineer ASLE, to inform him that we need his intervention, where they feel they cannot continue. And that is exactly what we discussed. That is exactly what we have agreed, and they have reasoned with the discussion. And I told them that you cannot work without your junior staff, and junior staff cannot work without their senior staff. So we have to work together as a team, because what we are after is result. And the objective is to do the best. And we must go back to our various offices and practice our ethics and professionalism. And that is the only way we can be able to stop to support the government, by informing the people professionally. And once we have problem, who is going to inform the public? What I want to tell the public. So these are some of the issues we, as much as possible, settle. And I believe if you ask them after this, the union leader will let you know that the process of their promotion have started.
Okay.
It has started. They have told them the issue will start. And after that one, when they are done with that, the next step will be taken. And I told them the state government have approved 40% and have released the money. They have released the money, 5.6 billion for digitalization of NBS. And 40% of the money have been released. And already, we have already sent the money, and the company, which is Compass, have received the alert of the money. So what we are waiting for them is to bring all facilities, because they told us they want to bring all the facilities on ground. When they bring the facilities, then the next thing, they will start the installation. As they are processing the installation, another 10 or 20% will be dropped. When they are done, another 10-20% will be dropped. Then 6 months later, when we transmit and find out that there's no problem, then we now release the last percentage for them. Then the facilities they are bringing has to cover a lot of things in the office. A lot of things in the office that will assist the office, in various departments like programs, news, engineering, and so on and so on, to have safety and comfort. And remember, when we talk about facilities, we are talking about digitalized facility, the current one that is happening of the art facilities, and that is exactly what is doing. And when you are talking about this facility, it's not something you get from Enugu, Abakaliki, or Anambra. It's something that you get it out of the country, either US, one of these countries, and they have to import it into the country. And that is exactly what is happening. And that is what we are waiting for. Any moment, I told him, any moment the facility is coming, let him inform me, so that I will talk to the management, so that they will look a place where they are going to store it, and then will now inform His Excellency that these facilities are on ground, so that he come and see what they brought, and to ensure that what has been given is being processed accordingly, step by step. So that is exactly what we did. They understand with everything, and we have agreed, and the management have complied, and they are working together. And I believe, by God's grace, the issue will be settled one after the other amicably. That is on that. My permanent secretary is a professional, a professional media practitioner who happens to be from your organization here, NBS. And she has been a director for so many years, with full of experience. She has created so many things and added so many value to this organization, NBS, National Broadcasting Service. And I feel somebody like that is a good partner to work. As a veteran journalist too, I like somebody who is like that, so that together we can be able to mold and shape so many things. So she was part of the meeting, and she made sure she contributed, and we will continue to make sure we control and work as a family and partner together. We need synergy so that we can salvage the situation. You cannot live in a situation where there's no communication. There's no organization that will work without communication. Because if you cannot communicate, that's going to completely, there's a problem. And we that inform the people, educate the people, sensitize the people, and enlighten the people, and we're having problem, then where will the people be informed? And that's why I'm always grateful for my NUJ state chairman and also the correspondent. We're working together to ensure that we report the state. The state is not underreported. And then we do objectivity in terms of our reporting. We balance our report. Professional production is going on. So that is exactly you can see NTA is with us here. You can see most of the media has this is cordial relationship. And what brings this peace, leadership, you understand, an harmonious working relationship, and that is how we continue. And by God's grace, we are going to. Thank you very much.
It's all right. Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner, Information, Culture and Tourism. I think let's get the Secretary of the NUJ, Sunday John, will be asking his question.
Okay, the Honorable Attorney General, can you give more light, share more light on how long it takes for the Director of Public Prosecution to give legal advice on the case, especially high-profile cases? Then secondly, does the ministry still have shortage of manpower to prosecute cases on behalf of the state government, and how many state councils do you have currently in the ministry?
Okay, thank you very much. I think you've asked three very key questions. First and foremost, if you heard me very well in the course of my introductory speech, as I was talking about our relationship with the direct office of the DPP, usually is not supposed to last more than 14 days, even legally speaking, to give one advice. But we have reduced it to 1 week now. When I came in, as I said, we met a situation whereby the case file will have to go around, and in the process even get missing. If it has to go to 7 directors to give their own input, and at the end of the day, you see there's even a split decision, 3 against 2, and in the process too, it keeps delaying. What we have on ground now, look at the process. It comes to my office. All correspondences come to the office of the attorney. Indeed, any lawyer, working in the ministry is a representative of the Honorable Attorney General, because he has the fiat of the Attorney General to do that. Then when it comes, if I feel it comes back to me, if it comes and I read it and I feel I have, a dissenting opinion, I'll also ask her questions, or please see me, or please speak. Then I'll tell her, but have you looked at this angle? Have you reviewed this angle? And so on. We'll discuss it. At times, if it is a short one, I just mean it to her, and then she may go back to the same counsel and put him through the process. The counsel is also learning, you know, because it's a learning process. Nobody has monopoly of the law, you know. So when that happens, it comes back. But where there are no issues, all I do is okay, please, or proceed, please, or go ahead, please. And the moment we send the files, I mean the advice back to the police, we now say, okay, we are retained. For those that we are prosecuting, we say return the original copies of the case files to us and all the evidences, you know, particularly if it is like high profile case of kidnapping, if there are confessional statements, it requires that there should be video evidence, there should be this, there shouldn't be a break in chain. So in the process, that will be done. If there are minor ones, we can say the police should even go ahead and prosecute, you know, particularly in the magistrate courts and so on, just to reduce. So it doesn't take longer anymore. Just about 7 days, advices come and go. Because what is worth doing at all is worth doing well. You know, then on the issue of how many staff do we have not less than 70 lawyers in the organization. And honestly, everybody is, you know, alive to his responsibility. And we are not overburdened, because since I came in, we've had cause to engage about 7 lawyers. Before I came in, more lawyers were engaged. But the most important thing is to make those lawyers very, very, you know, productive and active in service. It's not all about the numbers. It's all about the quality of, you know, service delivery that we have, you know. And on the issue of there is okay, you talk about shortage of manpower, you talk about the DPP cases. As I said, we are not we do not have that of scarcity of manpower. What we try to do again, you know, the office also has the right to grant what they call pro bono cases to even lawyers that are not staff of the ministry. When cases come like this and we feel we are overburdened, there are a lot of lawyers who are ready. Even we send some to even the Legal Aid Council, you know, to make service delivery quite a lot easier. Then we give it to even lawyers. Big-time lawyers come to us. There are big-time lawyers that have never had experience of, you know, even trial court cases, particularly because they are mostly Ministry of Justice. You see all sorts of cases, particularly the criminal ones. So, but a lawyer who is in private practice, he's hardly been involved in criminal cases. So some of them want to actually show interest, and they come and they do well. So we give them cases to do free of charge, but we must have commitment from them that they will not abandon the cases as far as they move, you know. And so we've been working together both with the NBA in the state to see how these cases can be dispensed with effectively and efficiently too.
All right, thank you so much. Let's get a question from Chris Nyantu, the correspondent of Radio Nigeria.
Okay, thank you very much. With the Attorney General, I was first start by commending you when you started. So
Question from Chris Nyantu, the correspondent of Radio Nigeria.
okay, thank you very much. With the Attorney General, I was first start by commending you when you started. We saw you hitting the ground running, appearing personally in courts, always me responding immediately to issues. However, I would like you to tell us issues happen. Sometimes last year, there were some kind of job racketeering arising from the Teachers Service Commission, where citizens, youths in Nasarawa State were robbed. And the case was in 3 categories. There was some that the state government had to compensate them, refund their money.
Yeah.
There was some, even though they presented evidence that they paid money, but the state government said you are on your own.
Yeah.
Some described them as desperate youths.
Yeah.
How will you pay money to buy a job?
Yes.
Unfortunately, the suspect, or the chairman then, was suspended, and then he took the state government to court. We saw you speaking up that you would defend the state, which majority of most people in the state were saying it's supposed to be the other way around. Suspending him would have been arrested and charged in court. to pay for all this because the people, the victims, are citizens of Nasarawa State. He was acting on behalf of the state. Till this moment, what is the situation in general? These people, are they still left on their own, or there is any other thing that the state government should do to ensure that they get justice? That's one part of the story. Your tenure as a last year is characterized by a lot of drama.
Sorry?
A lot of drama.
Okay.
I'm speaking the mind of most people in Nasarawa State.
Yes.
I'll give instances. There was a situation where the APC chairman wanted to be removed.
Yes.
People wanted to remove him.
Yes.
And then an ex parte order was issued by a district court.
Yes.
Later again, the same district court counter that ex parte order.
Yes.
Secondly, not long ago, the council chairman was suspended by the State House of Assembly, an independent arm. Later, the suspension was reversed by the judiciary. I don't know this scenario. Don't you see a kind of infraction in the justice system? Are you proud to preside over the system, looking at the drama so far?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, sir. Maybe before you attempt the question, the time is not really on our side, so I want you to expedite your explanation so that we can meet up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. 3 key questions, very relevant too. Teacher Service Commission. I think the matter has been struck out. The case he took against Nasarawa State government, I appeared personally there, and somehow, because he knew where we were going, he had to withdraw from the case. He refused to appear in court, and we applied that the matter be struck out for want of prosecution. So that one has been sorted out. Well, again, you see, based on what happened between him, and he was not acting for and on behalf of the state, I must tell you, because yes, he had the mandate to represent the state, but he went ultra vires the powers that were given to him. If you give somebody powers and he overuses the power, he's on his own, and that's what is called vicarious liability in law. He was asked to employ just about 1,000 of them, and he went beyond that. You can't blame the state government. But again, the state government, under the able leadership of His Excellency Engineer ASOA, was magnanimous enough to throw the thing open. Do you know that there are some people who actually who gave money, and they were given a second bite on the cherry to come and attend interview, and they performed woefully? So what kind of teachers are we going to bring and churn out in the society? Remember that you may have children too that want to be part and parcel of the students of that teacher. You understand? And there is nothing that prevents those people from taking the laws, from asking the law to pay them their money. You understand? So you cannot ordinarily blame the government on that. It is solely his responsibility. And as I speak with you now, I'm being told that he's facing ICPC and EFCC at the same time with respect to that issue. So at the end of the day, we cannot prejudice what is happening, since he's before and a law enforcement. But I think government was also magnanimous to him by not even sending him to jail. You understand? So that is that. Then on the issue of the drama you are talking about, to me, I don't think it's drama. It's just the diversity, and also the dynamic nature of the judiciary. You understand? There is nothing in law that prevents a judge from overruling himself. If you granted, because you can give an order. If you gave an ex parte order, and then there is a counter, okay? Because ex parte order means that the second party was not heard. But when the second party is heard, the judge now makes his own decision based on hearing both parties, and then he can, rule against. And if you were to even go to the main nitty-gritties, does a magistrate or a district court has the right to even remove to remove a party chairman? So they cannot order to that. They have to go to the appropriate court to see that that is done. Again, what happened in the case of the local government chairman? We are also in court. It was an ex parte application. What does ex parte means? It means you had only one side. And this is a high-profile case that I cannot just hear one person who came and said he was removed from. And again, we challenged it because, number one, you don't grant ex parte application over an issue that has been an act that has been committed. You only grant an ex parte application on an act that you think will be committed. He had already been removed from office. So if you say you are bringing him back to office, it's like you are now assuming you are listening, you are hearing the main case without even hearing the other person. So when we filed our papers and the man through his lawyers discovered that he decided to withdraw the case himself. He withdrew it, nobody withdrew it for him. The local government chairman, he wasn't forced. So basically these are the issues, no controversy, no drama, no melodrama about it at all.
Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General of Nasarawa State, Barrister Isaac Danladi. We appreciate you greatly for your
I appreciate
submission.
you too. All of you are my people. I'm back to be home.
And then to our host, the Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, thank you so much for always bringing us together.
Thank you so much.
And my colleague, the chairman and the rest of NUJ members, we appreciate you for participating. And to our viewer, this is how far we go on today's edition of the program Ministerial Briefing. My name is Gospel Ede. Thank you for following. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.